How's it going, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Zippy extension spacers in the Arthur Goins JK Design Goose. The spacers also come with these complementary inlay accents for free. And you can see I've already installed the inlays and the spacers and the bite handle, so we'll do the safe handle together. The first step is to take your T8, I'm actually using a T9 because it's fitting better, so T8 or T9 Torx driver, and undo the bottom screw here. And then we're going to push out the sex bolt. I'm using a 1.5mm hex key, although it just fell out on its own. Wonderful. All right, you can see the spacer is actually indexed with a pin, so you can't pull it out yet. To do that, we're going to need to loosen the pivot screw. So take a T10, and we're going to just gently loosen the pivot screw just a little bit. You don't need to take the screw out. But we're just going to lift the handle up a little bit so that the stock spacer falls out. And then what happened here is the indexing pin is actually friction fit into this slab. You might find that the pin comes out. If it does, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's also fine. But that indexing pin is going to be put in this upper hole right here. So in the scenario in which the indexing pin is stuck in your handle, that's fine. We're going to fit it just like that. Before we do, I want to go over the weight system of these spacers. So each spacer can hold up to 1 removable tungsten weight. And the way you install it is just rest the weight there, take the tip of a clicky pen, and just push it in, and it'll snap right in. And you can see you'll have the weight in because this hole in the back will indicate that. Now, to remove the weight, if you wanted less handle bias, you would just use a thin, rigid metal object. In this case, I'm using a 1.5mm Allen key, and we're just going to push out the weight. Now, with the weight in, it reproduces the stock balance almost identically, and that's my personal preference. I think the stock balance is great, and I have no reason to mess with it. So I prefer to run these with the weight in. If you wanted something that was had less handle end weight, less handle bias, you might prefer the weight out. But I'm going to install it with the weight in since that's my preference. And I'm going to install the spacer sideways, just like you're seeing here. And I'm just going to gently push the slab down onto the spacer, and I'm going to line up the slabs so that the indexing pin can find the other hole on the other slab. And that's that. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I have the spacer on sideways. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate the spacer like so. We're going to rotate it into place. So holding the slabs firmly, I'm rotating the spacer, and it should just snap right into place. Perfect. Now I'm going to insert the sex bolt in from the bottom. And once the tip of the sex bolt reaches the edge of the slab where I'm indicating, it might be a little stuck. What I recommend doing, and that's intentional, what I recommend doing is push the spacer into the handle like so, while pushing this top slab into the spacer. And I'm going to be at the same time pushing the slab down. So I'm going to try and hook that hole onto the sex bolt. You probably won't hear a snap, but you will see it line up nicely. And it's lined up nicely there. So I'm going to reinsert this screw, and I'm going to screw it in until I feel a light resistance. We're not going to screw it in all the way just yet, but I can feel the threads catching. and it's a light resistance. With that done, I'm going to gently pick up the handles, and we're going to screw the pivots back in and tighten these. And now we're going to take a stock spacer, and we're going to wedge it in the channel like so. And now we're going to screw in the spacer until we feel a stronger resistance. And then you can see that there's friction holding the stock spacer in. You basically want to tighten it down until it requires friction to remove the stock spacer. You can feel the handles catching on the stock spacer. And that's that. The spacers are installed. Let's real quick install these handle inlay accents, which are included. They have a lip, and that lip faces up, and we'll just pop them in with our thumb. You should feel, it's a friction fit, and you should feel them secure themselves in. If you don't wish to use these handle inlays, not a problem. You can just pop them out from the underside of the handle. I use this bent up, this was a paper clip, believe it or not, and I use a plastic coated paper clip so that you don't risk scratching surface finishes or anodizations if you accidentally brush the handle. So my recommendation is a plastic coated paper clip, but any paper clip or metal object will do. You can just pop those right out. All right, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys.